There is a method that kills every weed in your garden permanently. Not temporarily, not for a season, not until the next rain washes away your expensive mulch. Permanently. The weeds die and they do not come back. The seeds already in your soil never germinate. The roots already established rot in darkness and disappear. This method costs almost nothing. The primary material is free. You can collect it from any grocery store, any recycling bin, any neighbor's trash. The labor takes a single afternoon, and then you never weed again. Farmers in Japan perfected this before World War II. American Victory Gardens employed it when every minute of labor mattered. The method is proven across a century of continuous use. But when you walk into any garden center in America, you will not find it. You will find bags of mulch at $8 each. You will find landscape fabric at $40 per roll. You will find chemical herbicides at $15 per bottle. What you will not find is the method that eliminates all of this. The garden industry generates over $40 billion annually in the United States. Mulch sales exceed $3 billion. Herbicide sales exceed $2 billion. A method that stops weeds permanently threatens every dollar of recurring revenue. The industry did not ban this method. They simply never mentioned it. They funded no research. They trained no employees to recommend it. They let it fade from memory while filling shelves with products that require endless repurchase. Today, we are opening the file on the weed barrier that works permanently, the shield that costs nothing and lasts forever, and the economics that explain why garden centers pray you never discover it. Welcome to Nature's Lost Vault. If this knowledge matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. The vault opens now. The method is called sheet mulching. Some call it lasagna gardening. Others call it cardboard mulching. The name matters less than what it accomplishes. The principle is devastatingly simple. Weeds need light to grow. Block the light completely and weeds die. Block it with materials that decompose into soil and you eliminate weeds while simultaneously building the richest growing medium possible. The bottom layer is cardboard. Plain corrugated cardboard, the boxes that delivered your packages, the material that Americans throw away by the ton every single day. Cardboard blocks light completely. It prevents any photosynthesis beneath its surface. The weeds already growing cannot survive without light. They yellow, weaken, and die within weeks. The millions of weed seeds waiting in your soil never receive the light signal to germinate. They remain dormant until they lose viability and decompose. But here is what makes cardboard superior to landscape fabric or plastic sheeting. Cardboard decomposes. Over 6 to 12 months, the cardboard breaks down completely. Soil organisms consume it. Earthworms pull it into their burrows. The barrier that killed your weeds becomes food for the biology that feeds your plants. Landscape fabric does not do this. It persists for decades. It tangles around roots. It prevents earthworms from cycling nutrients. The soil beneath becomes compacted and lifeless. Plastic sheeting is worse. It never decomposes. It fragments into microplastics that contaminate your garden permanently. The industry sells products that damage your soil while claiming to protect it. The free material in your recycling bin protects your soil while feeding it. The history of sheet mulching traces to Japan long before American garden centers existed. A Japanese farmer named Masanobu Fukuoka documented these methods in his revolutionary book, The One-Straw Revolution, published in 1975. Fukuoka had worked as a plant pathologist before returning to his family farm. Fukuoka observed something profound. Nature does not weed. Forests do not require human intervention to suppress unwanted plants. The natural world solved the weed problem millions of years before humans invented the hoe. His solution was radical simplicity. Stop fighting weeds, start smothering them. Fukuoka used rice straw scattered thickly over his fields. The straw blocked light, suppressed germination, and decomposed into fertility. His yields matched conventional farms, while his labor dropped to a fraction of theirs. The agricultural establishment dismissed him as a mystic. His methods could not be patented. His materials could not be sold. His success could not be monetized. But his ideas spread anyway. In Australia, a gardener named Esther Deans developed her own version in the 1970s. She called it no-dig gardening and wrote a book that sold over 200,000 copies. Her garden in suburban Sydney became famous. Visitors came to see beds that had not been weeded in years. The soil beneath her cardboard layers was black, loose, and alive with earthworms. Deans tried to spread her method through garden centers. She approached major retailers about promoting her technique. They declined. A method that required no purchased products did not fit their business model. In America, Patricia Lanza popularized sheet mulching under the name Lasagna Gardening in 1998. Her book reached hundreds of thousands of gardeners. She faced the same institutional resistance. Garden centers showed no interest in promoting a method that eliminated most of their product categories. The method kept spreading through word of mouth. But without commercial support, sheet mulching remained a niche technique, while the mainstream world continued buying products that never solved the underlying problem. The science of sheet mulching explains why it works so completely. Weeds are not random, they are biological responses to specific conditions. Disturbed soil, exposed to sunlight, triggers weed germination. This is nature's healing response to damaged earth. The conventional approach fights this response directly. Till the soil. Pull the weeds that appear. Till again. Apply herbicides. Repeat indefinitely. This approach cannot succeed because it perpetuates the conditions that cause weeds. Every time you disturb soil, you trigger more weeds. You are fighting a battle that your actions guarantee you will lose. Sheet mulching breaks this cycle completely. The cardboard creates darkness. No light reaches the soil surface. The biological trigger for germination never fires. Seeds remain dormant. Existing weeds starve. Research from Ohio State University documented this in controlled trials. Plots covered with cardboard and organic mulch showed 95% weed suppression compared to bare soil. The suppression continued for multiple years after a single application. Plots that received chemical herbicides showed initial suppression followed by rapid weed rebound. The researchers noted that sheet-mulched plots developed superior soil biology. Earthworm populations increased dramatically. Fungal diversity expanded. The weed suppression was a side effect of soil improvement. Studies from Cornell University reached similar conclusions. Cardboard mulching created conditions where weed seeds lost viability before the barrier decomposed. The suppression was structural. The soil itself changed in ways that discouraged weed establishment. A 2019 study in Hort Science compared sheet mulching to conventional mulching over 3 years. Sheet-mulched beds required zero weeding after installation. Conventionally mulched beds required regular weeding throughout. Labor savings exceeded 90%. The science is clear. Sheet mulching creates soil conditions where weeds become unnecessary. The comparison to commercial alternatives reveals the scope of industry failure. Landscape fabric costs 50 cents per square foot installed. It works initially but degrades within 3 to 5 years. As it tears and shifts, weeds penetrate. Their roots tangle with the fabric. Pulling them tears the barrier further. Within a decade, landscape fabric becomes a maintenance nightmare. After 5 years, landscape fabric is a problem to be removed. After 5 years, cardboard has vanished completely, leaving improved soil that needs no barrier. Bagged mulch represents another unnecessary expense. Americans spend over $3 billion annually on mulch. The average homeowner applies it yearly at costs ranging from $200 to over $1,000. This mulch decomposes. Within a year, a 3-inch layer has compressed to less than an inch. The weed suppression disappears as the layer thins. The industry sells mulch, knowing it must be replaced. The replacement cycle is the business model. Sheet mulching breaks this cycle. The initial installation uses more material, but it does not need replacement the following year. As the organic layers decompose, they become soil. Gardeners who convert report mulch expenses dropping by 80 to 90% after the first year. A garden center employee explaining sheet mulching would be explaining why customers should stop buying products. This explanation does not happen. The herbicide industry faces an even more direct threat. Americans apply over 100 million pounds of herbicides to gardens annually. The chemicals kill weeds but do not prevent them. New weeds germinate within weeks. The customer returns for more. Glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, generates over $5 billion in annual sales. This chemical depends on weeds continuing to exist. No weeds, no sales. Sheet mulching eliminates weeds without any chemical application. The industry cannot argue that sheet mulching is less effective. Studies show superior long-term suppression. The industry cannot argue it is more dangerous. Cardboard poses zero health risk. Herbicides are linked to cancer and ecological damage. What the industry can do is ignore sheet mulching entirely. They fund research on new herbicides while funding nothing on organic alternatives. They advertise constantly while sheet mulching receives no promotion. The strategy has worked for decades. The implementation requires no special skills. Begin by mowing existing vegetation as low as possible. Do not remove it. Leave all organic matter in place as a nitrogen layer. Water the area thoroughly. Moisture activates soil biology. Collect cardboard. Corrugated boxes work best. Remove all tape and staples. Tape does not decompose. Lay cardboard directly over existing vegetation. Overlap edges by at least 6 inches. Weeds will find gaps. Cover every square inch with no holes. Water the cardboard until completely saturated. Wet cardboard conforms to ground contours and stays in place. Add nitrogen-rich material over the cardboard, 2 to 4 inches thick, fresh grass clippings, kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, or fresh manure. Add carbon-rich material as the top layer, 4 to 6 inches thick, dried leaves, straw, wood chips, or shredded paper. Order everything thoroughly and walk away. The system requires no further intervention. Rain maintains moisture, biology processes the materials, weeds die beneath the cardboard. Within 6 to 12 months, the cardboard decomposes and you have several inches of new topsoil. To plant immediately, cut an X through the cardboard at planting locations. Pull flaps aside and plant transplants directly. To plant the following season, push aside the mulch, dig into the new soil that has formed, and plant anything you wish. The true cost comparison spans decades. A typical 200 square foot garden bed costs $200 to $400 annually to maintain conventionally mulch, herbicides, tools, and labor valued at minimum wage. Over 10 years, conventional maintenance costs $2,000 to $4,000. These savings transfer directly from industry profits to household budgets. The suppression is not conspiracy. It is capitalism functioning as designed. No secret meeting decided to hide sheet mulching. The suppression emerges from economic incentives. Garden center employees are trained to sell products. They do not learn about free alternatives because employers have no reason to teach them. Garden media depends on advertising revenue from mulch and herbicide companies. They have no incentive to promote methods that anger sponsors. Garden research receives funding from industry sources. Researchers who study sheet mulching cannot expect funding from companies whose products it replaces. The incentives align perfectly to keep sheet mulching invisible. The mainstream gardening world continues generating $40 billion annually, while the solution sits in recycling bins, waiting to be discovered. The choice facing every gardener is clearer than the industry wants. You can continue buying mulch every year. You can continue applying herbicides that may cause cancer. You can continue spending hours pulling weeds that return within days. You can continue transferring hundreds of dollars annually to corporations that profit from your struggle. Or you can collect cardboard from your recycling bin. You can layer it over the weeds that plague your garden. You can cover it with leaves and grass clippings. You can water it once and walk away. The weeds will die. The soil will improve. The need for products will end. The industry cannot stop you. They cannot ban cardboard. They cannot prohibit leaves. They can only hope you never learn what they have worked to keep hidden. Now you know. You know that sheet mulching kills weeds permanently. You know it costs almost nothing. You know it builds soil while conventional methods deplete it. You know that Japanese farmers perfected this a century ago. You know that science confirms what practitioners have observed. You know that the industry profits from your ignorance. The cardboard is waiting in your recycling bin. The leaves are waiting in your yard. The solution is waiting for you to implement it. Sheet mulching is not complicated. It is not risky. It is not experimental. It is simply the method that industry hopes you never discover. Consider it discovered. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe to Nature's Lost Vault and hit the bell. Every like and share preserves what they tried to bury. The next vault opens soon.